Good evening and welcome to another episode of the College Football Playbook. My name is Sean Wilkerson. I'm here to give you an insider breakdown of Week 13 as we approach Week 14. In other words, Conference Championship Week in the college football season. Last week, we had a bunch of great games, a lot of great games that stood out. Arguably, probably one of the greatest games in college football history with LSU and Texas A&M going into 7 overtimes. And the final score ended up being Texas A&M 74 with LSU 72. High-scoring game, high-scoring shootout game. And that's the beat of the college football season. Last week, we had Alabama beat up on Auburn. Ohio State run up the score against Michigan. We had Washington State be upset by Washington. We had West Virginia lose in a huge Big 12 game against Oklahoma. Hey, beauty of college football right there. This week, we have a bunch of great games. It's Conference Championship Week. Conference Championship Week, you know what that means? A lot is laying on the line right here. We're not going to get into the rankings because rankings don't matter right now. So we're just going to get right into the Conference Championship games. One of the biggest games of the week, I would say, is those Georgia Bulldogs versus those Alabama Crimson Tide. I'll give you my prediction later on, but we're going to continue with the rivalries. You got the rematch in the Red River rivalry between Oklahoma and Texas. And which game? I'll give you a prediction later on. We got Ohio State and Northwestern. Great game. You got Washington playing Utah in a great game. And then the Central Florida, probably the dark horse of the top 10 teams. They got a good Memphis team that they're playing against in their conference championship game. Teams that hurt themselves over the weekend. I would say it's all the teams that could have earned their way into the conference championship game and even the college football playoff. That's the West Virginias of the world. That's the Michigans of the world. That's the Washington States of the world. Come on, guys. Do you guys even want to get into the conference championship, even let alone the college football playoff? Hey, you guys laid an egg and you see what results you're in. You guys are going to be playing some low caliber Poinsettia Bowl, Little Caesars Bowl, GoDaddy.com Bowl, the Insight Bowl. I don't know. You name it bowl, they're going to be there. Teams that helped themselves over the weekend was each of the teams that won and got the W to earn themselves into, college football playoff talks or even the conference championship talk. That's the Ohio States. That's the Georgias. That's the Oklahomas. Hey, those teams, great job over the weekend. Hey, you guys got to build on it this year. My predictions, we're going to follow back up. My predictions of these weekend's games. The SEC matchup, probably one of the biggest games of the weekend. It's probably going to be the most watched. I got the Georgia Bulldogs winning that game. You do not lose to Nick Saban twice, especially with Jake Fromm, Justin Fields, that caliber of weapons that Jake Fromm has, and then the head guy himself, Kirby Smart. If you look at it, who was the mastermind behind all of those Alabama national championships? The defensive coordinator, which was who? The head coach of UGA, Kirby Smart. All right, then you got Ohio State and Northwestern. Looking at how Ohio State played last year, Ohio State's going to run up the score against Northwestern. And that's my opinion. You all may have something different, but hey, I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Another game, Central Florida playing Memphis. Even though Central Florida lost their quarterback, he was the heart and soul of their team. I think that team has a lot of continuity. I think they're hot. I think they're ready to go. They're out to prove something. I feel like if Central Florida wins, they're in the New Year's Six. I wouldn't give them the top 4, but they're in the New Year's Six. And then the Red River rivalry, Texas and Oklahoma. Huge Big 12 game, the biggest rematch of them all. I got Oklahoma, Kyler Murray, and that defense. The defense kind of spotty, but I think Kyler Murray, he's a Heisman hopeful. I think they're going to have a great game against Texas. Even though Texas is good, they're going to have David Beatty. He used to coach at Kansas. He's going to help them game plan against Oklahoma. But hey, I think it's going to be a great, great, great game. And then the Pac-12 game, you got Washington playing Utah. I got Utah beating those Washington Huskies. And then another game that's probably going to round it off, the ACC Championship between Clemson and Pitt. And I think Clemson's probably going to beat the brakes off of those Pitt Panthers. But if you would, give me insight of those predictions that you have. Who's going to be in your college football playoff? I think it's going to be Bama. You got Clemson, Notre Dame, and Georgia. But if Alabama loses, they'll move into the 2 position. And then you got to move on to Oklahoma or even shift Notre Dame to the 4th spot since they don't have a conference championship. But we shall see a lot. A lot's going to be played this weekend and a lot's going to be shaken up. But if you would, like always, in the biggest game of the season for us Georgia Bulldogs, go Dogs.